Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe so you can be notified when I go live or upload a new video. And please like this video, it really does help me out. In this video, Solar goes on and on and on about his twin flame and his soulmate and his step down, which is his toxic relationship with Natiri. So I hope you guys can keep up. Good luck, because my nerves are shot at this point trying to get through this video and trying to commentary on this. He is a lot, but we're going to go ahead and get started.
Go through a twin flame relationship. And I'm actually teaching you how to deal with the true partners that you're supposed to be with in this life. And in that sense, the healthiest people for you, right? If you got certain things that you could do.
I don't know how he's teaching anybody anything that has to do with relationships. We've seen what went on with Zoka, we've seen what went on with Natiri, and we've seen what went on with Velvet. We've seen him in this cult where he has went a long period of time without even a relationship, even though he was married and had someone there. So I don't think, just starting off, this is already sounding weird. I don't think this man can teach anybody anything that has to do with relationships, but that's just my opinion.
That are in alignment with your purpose, that are best for you. You better believe that there's people and there's relationships in this life that are also best for you. The twin flame relationship is the one that's best for you. Soulmates are just really good, you know, and then false flames, they be like karmic partners and trauma bonds. Okay? So I've gone through a little bit of all of them to tell you what it's like and what happens. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The one thing that you have to do in all of these relationships is evolve to self-love. When you evolve to self-love, you're going to get multiple results.
So I'm going to assume that he's talking about Zoka, that she is the soul one. And I think he's going to refer to Natiri as the trauma bond, and then with Velvet, he's saying that, you know, I'm assuming that he's going to say that is his twin flame. So we'll keep watching.
The results that you get from your self-love is going to let you know if you was in a twin flame relationship, if you was with a false.
And we already know that he has no problem with self-love.
False flame, or if you just with a soulmate, you're going to see it once you achieve this certain level. When this person leaves or breaks up, or whenever anything happens where you may be separated or you may be pressed or forced to grow, what you're going to notice is that there's a couple scenarios, and let's go into the twin flame scenario first. So how do you know your twin flame? All right, when you grow and when you evolve on your own time in your own space, all right, what you're going to see with your twin flame is that you can really only be with them at your highest. They're almost like something you have to unlock. It's like you literally got to reach a certain level, or there's certain requirements that you have to have of self-love before they can even be in your life. Even if they've been in your life before and they leave and they exit and they come back, you better recognize it. You better take responsibility that, you know, you're not being your best. And when you're not being your best, you can't have your best. You hear me? When you're not being your best, you can't have your best. So, naturally. We usually get in our breakups and lose our partners or whatever the case, or we leave them. And, you know, it could push you to grow. It could push you to evolve yourself, to recenter yourself. Right? This is the twin flame. And you know it because through your growth, that's where you guys make sense together. At your best is when you and your...
So, in other words, he's thinking that him and Velvet have grown. That in order to come together and make things work, you have to take time for yourself. And you have to have self-love first. But he's had nothing but self-love. He's had nothing but time for himself. And now there's other individuals that are involved, and now are you loving yourself so much that you can't give love to a child? I mean, let's go on and listen to what he says.
Partner makes sense together. That's your twin. Now, false flame and trauma bonds. Oh boy, gotta love the false flame and the trauma bonds, right? So the trauma bonds, you'll notice that those are relationships that happen and you attract at your lowest. That's really, I don't know why people don't talk about that more, but it's really kind of simple like that. You know, a trauma bond, a soulmate. When a soulmate, you can meet at just like an average level of resonance in your purpose. They can really help you with your purpose. They can really help you on your journey with a number of things. A soulmate can be anything from a person to a person of the opposite sex to an animal. Okay? So soulmates. But twin flames, false flames, and trauma bonds. A trauma bond is obviously something that you find and attract when you're in your traumas, when you are literally not loving yourself, when you are looking for a way to feed what you've been missing. And to use myself as an example for...
So when he got with Natiri, he was in such a low place while he was out here eating at all these restaurants, taking her out to eat, and talking about love wins, blah, 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 love wins, love wins, love wins. But he's saying he's in his lower self. Make that make sense.
When I left carbonation, you could say that I had mad traumas that I didn't really even notice or know about from the whole situation. And now we're out, now we're free. It's like, all right, what we gonna do? And the first relationship to get into is with Janae. And that was literally a trauma bond. Why? Because I was not nearly vibrating at my highest. Not nearly. I knew a lot. And, you could say based off of what I know, I could have been high frequency. But the way I was living and what I was doing and how I believed myself to be, how I treated myself, it was not self-love. It was not how I see myself today. It was not acknowledgement and clarity of my purpose. It was a dude straight...
In my opinion, I think that he has had nothing but self-love since, I don't know. I think that he has always put himself first. I think he has always had a great amount of self-love. And I don't care what he calls it, whether he calls it trauma bonding, whether he calls it soulmate, or if he calls it twin flames. He can call it what he wants. But you don't leave a situation, after knowing that you still have a wife there, leave and then get with another member of somebody that used to come and go, and be with that person for a while, and then leave that person, and then go be with another person that was also in that cult, and then say that that, oh, this person's my twin flame. Because, and then say the other two are just a soulmate and the other one was just a trauma bonding. Because and this is just my opinion, but you had no business hooking up with either one of these women when you let this cult. So as soon as you leave Natiri, you say that by getting with Velvet that you're in your higher self now. But you obviously weren't, because then you not only then did you make the mistake with Natiri, but now you're going in and making another mistake instead of saying, "Oh, if I'm in my higher self, I'm gonna know enough to know that I don't get in with another relationship with somebody that came out of that mess. We need time apart. We all need time for ourselves, and we need time to heal." You can't say you're in your higher self and that's why Velvet's your higher flame, because you weren't in your higher whatever you want to call it, because you still went and then made yet another mistake.
Out of a cult looking for which direction he needs to go in. And is traumatized, but doing his best to not even come off that way. And then finds a relationship to jump into immediately from that, where it feels like we're helping each other get out. Where it feels like we're helping each other get out of a crazy situation. What's up? What's up, Ken? So that's what's known as a trauma bond. Now, it can seem like that would be a twin flame if your perspective is leaving that cult or leaving that really negative space you was just in, and that is your level up. But the level up, guys, isn't done from life situations and life things. The level up is done from you spending time alone. Hey, peace. You spending time alone and really working on yourself and having that same love that you wish you had with that person, literally, if you're in a room sitting alone by yourself. That same purpose, that same energy, you give it to you. You wake up and you take care of you, because that's just how it is. You wake up and you work out for you.
He acts like he misses Velvet so much, but if you just watch him and how he's behaving, like he is loving this. He loves to be by himself. He's acting like a little baby, like a little boy, like a kid in a candy store. He's just happy. He loves everything being about himself, and he likes to make everything about himself. And there's people that say that he was in love with Velvet. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And I don't believe that he would ever, when his mask would have came off, and Velvet was, maybe if she was paying more attention to the kids than she was to him or to his needs, then he would feel some type of way about that. He would eventually not be happy about that. And maybe that's why they did have problems, or part of their problems is that she could not put him on a pedestal. She couldn't put him as number one like he wants to be.
And get dressed for you. You put yourself on a schedule for you. Anytime you doing those things for somebody else, it's a trauma bond, bro. And if it's not a trauma bond, it's just attracting something that you eventually will have to let go of long term and not pick it back up. You'll know. You'll know. And sometimes, this is my thing with my other partner, my twin flame. I know my twin flame, and I know my twin flame because I only attracted her when I was literally vibrating at the highest I've ever vibrated, even higher than I'm vibrating now. And I know that she was vibrating higher than she has ever vibrated before as well. And lo and behold, it smacks us together like two magnets in a sandwich. So that's how you know your twin flame versus your false flame. And I'll just put this on my page. Y'all just watch it whenever you want. I use myself as an example. And then there's other people you come across in this life, like I guess a lot of twin trauma bonds and false flames, and a lot of like soulmates. They actually can take on the same roles because everybody's literally here to teach you how to love yourself. Everybody's here literally to show you how you're not loving yourself, and you'll feel it in how other people treat you. And how other people treat you is literally a direct reflection of how you feel inside. And so when I'm dealing with my partner, my twin flame, and they treat
His twin flame, the one that left him at one point to go. She's vibrating on such a high frequency. She left him to go and be with some other guy that basically didn't want her either. There's neither one of them were in a good spot when they got together. He wasn't in a good spot when he got with Natiri. He wasn't in a good spot when he got with Velvet. None of these people are in a good spot right now. None of them have had time to heal. None of them have taken the time. They've had time to heal. They won't. They will refuse to even try.
me a certain way, or they think I'm treating them a certain way. It's for her to understand, what's lacking within her that she wants to refill, that she maybe had once had filled before we got together. And when you get together from that very high place, you have to be ready to do things to fight for that frequency and to stay in that place. It's like, you ever heard of like renewing your wedding vows? Stuff like that. It's like, you're together and you came together from your highest point, but over time and over life and over situations, there's so many distractions and things that can pop up to where you kind of lose touch and lose connection with your twin flame. And it can seem like, oh, this ain't the relationship I'm supposed to be in, this person ain't for me. It can seem like that to you, and I felt that a couple of times. I'm like, bro, this is immature. Like, bro, I don't have those problems. Like, I don't have it. But that's not what it was. It was exposing other problems that I do have with myself. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just full of downloads. I got downloads for days for y'all. And this one is really dope, and I'm going to reconnect it to something deeper in a minute. But
I think that they're both immature. I think they're both selfish, in my opinion. I think they both only think about themselves. And this is why they cannot come, they're not going to get along. They're not going to stay together. They gave this thing a try 2 times and it didn't work out. And it's not going to a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a 6th time either.
is that a trauma bond is a bond and a connection that you create when you're vibrating really low. A soulmate is somebody that you attract when you're in your purpose. A false flame is someone that you attract when you're looking for love. And a twin flame is only something that you can have when you embody love. When you are love. When you are vibrating at the highest you've ever vibrated. That's how I know my partnerships. That's how I know who I'm supposed to be with, who I'm not supposed to be with. That's how I know how things are supposed to go, how things are supposed to roll. And I think that the whole polygamy thing is interesting. The polygamy thing is funny because of this dynamic and because of other things as far as like how intimate can you really be with, multiple people at once. And it really makes me think like, you can have a slew of soulmates and be polygamous and it can seem cool. But that doesn't mean that you vibrating at your highest or you've attained your highest level. It doesn't mean that. Just because you're polygamous, just because you got all these women, or just if you're a woman and you're powerful and you got all these men, right? Polyamorous, that doesn't mean that you're in your best self. That doesn't mean that you're awesome and you're the shit, because at any point in time, you'll notice that there's like this robotic drone mentality in polygamous relationships. Like, who here has noticed that? In polygamous relationships, there's like almost this neutral, empty vessel type of vibe to the women. And it's like really robotic, and like there's just things that they have to. It's weird. It comes almost like a government. Who's noticed that in
And he's laughing about it, but that is the exact same thing that he wants. He wants to be polygamist. He wants to have multiple women. He wants to have multiple relationships. People, he wants to be another nature boy, in my opinion.
like polygamous relationships? I just find it interesting. And then there's polygamous relationships created from the situation where people are, just want to put their money together and do things for economics, but that's kingdom building. Especially when you don't take care of your responsibilities, yeah. That's really deep. So being in a polygamous relationship, to me, is very interesting because I don't feel like that you can necessarily be in a polygamous relationship with like hella twin flames. I mean, and I don't see why, you shouldn't have, you couldn't, or I'm not going to limit the fact that it's impossible to have multiple twin flames or something, but when you understand how it really works, bro, nobody has to move or act in any other special type of way other than themselves for it to be real love. And if you find people who have to adapt what they do and what they say to fit into a community or something like that, even a polygamous relationship, be careful, because somebody there probably ain't loving themselves because they ain't being themselves, unless that is who they are. But it can look good and it can be cool and you can get through your whole life with a soulmate. All right, it does not mean that you reached your highest heights. It does not mean that you tapped into the best version of you. Okay, and I think it's funny.
So is what he's saying is by him being with Zoka, his soulmate, and being with Natiri, the one that he had the trauma bond, he says, with, that he is that's just like, that's like settling, that he was basically just settling with them.
If you think about kings and emperors and stuff, they don't have multiple queens, nigga. They got one queen and then concubines for whatever other reasons they feel like they need to do that. Because you see what I'm saying? Like, no, like, so see, Zoka was what's known as a soulmate. Okay? Zoka was known as what's known as a soulmate. She was somebody who I was supposed to meet. We were supposed to do great things together. We helped each other out a lot, and we was in our purpose a lot together. A lot of things that me and her talked about, it was soulmate stuff, but that's not my person at the end of the day. You see, it's not my twin flame. That is actually also, it wasn't necessarily a trauma bond either, because we were vibrating out of an even lower space. We actually did do a lot of work to get to where we were spiritually and within ourselves to separate on a certain level. So that was a soulmate. A trauma bond was.
I don't understand how you're able to work on anything when you with your wife when you were in that cult. I don't understand how you were able to work on anything with Nature Boy being around, Nature Boy always separating you guys, keeping you apart. He, there was no, there was, he was, I don't know. It's just a big mess. And I don't understand why he's going in all of this, unless he really thinks he's getting back with Velvet. I don't know what his thinking is, but he never should have been with any of these women ever. And the reason why he was with them is because he's thinking that he could take over Nature Boy's position and he can have all of these women, and he thinks that Nateri was actually going to go and be with him in Velvet at one point, and I don't know what planet he's on, but that I don't know what he's thinking, but I don't know how that's going to work out. That was never going to work out. But I don't think he's going to get along with either one of these women, just for the fact that neither one of them are willing to settle for him being with someone else, or being with the other person. And I think there would be a lot of trouble if we were to see Velvet and Nateri together with him. That would right there, that would be a horrible situation.
Any relationship for real, where I felt like, number one, I didn't want to be there. I felt like I had to be in it. I felt like I had to be in the relationship. Like, no, that's a trauma bond. And
So he's saying that he felt like he had to be with Natiri, and that he had to be with Zoka. And I think he just keeps putting his foot in his mouth, and I don't think he's making the situation any better. I think that right now he doesn't need to be with anybody. He don't need to be with anybody. He needs to continue to do what he's doing now and be alone. You can't take back what you did with Velvet. You can't take back what you did with Natiri. There's children involved now. So now you have to sit and say, okay, well, we can't take back what happened. We all don't need to be together. I don't need to be with anybody. You guys don't need to be with anybody. Velvet and Natiri don't need to be with anybody right now. But let's work together and take care of our children and leave out all the drama. But he's not going to do that, because Solar only thinks about himself. If he didn't just think about himself, he would be making effort to see his child.
You feel like you have to be there, and they don't understand you. They don't see you. It's just like, it's different, and it's not like what you may experience with the twin flame, where you might feel like you're not wanted or unseen, but that can be coming from another thing. That can be coming from another place. When you're talking about a trauma bond, though, it's like, bro, you wasn't even at that place at all yet. And if it's a soulmate, then you could just be like in your average space. You might not be in your traumas. You might not be completely traumatized, but you're not completely in your self-love either. And so you might find yourself dating or going from relationship to relationship to relationship. Serial monogamous. You could be with hella soulmates. It might not always be trauma bonds, but there's still a certain level of love you want to create. And a lot of polygamous men are going to be cool with just being polygamous, because the world's different, man. And I don't know if just because you have a twin flame, you're destined and you must be with them. Like, I'm pretty sure people go throughout their life, never meeting their twin flame. A karmic, yeah, it is called a karmic. Without ever meeting that person, or they can die, like disappear, like they can lose their person. All kind of things can happen, I'm sure, to where a person won't be with their twin flame at the end of the day. Oh, I'd love to hear all 7 types of love. You want to come up and talk about it? I'd love to hear it, because I'm talking about, like, from my experience, and then also what I know about twin flames, trauma bonds. And trust me, I've gone deep into these topics because of, my public relationships. Everybody always got something to say about my relationships, to where I had to personally clarify to myself, what is a trauma bond? What is a twin flame? What is a karmic? What is a soulmate? You see what I'm saying? I had to go through that. And I've seen all the differences. And there's a reason why I call my twin flame my twin flame. There's a reason why it may kind of seem Like I pursue them, but at the end of the day, it's like I can let her go because I know that I need to get back to working out. I need to get back to doing my daily rituals and routines.
Okay. So he says he needs to let her, he knows that he can let her go because why? Just what I said, for the same selfish reasons. I need to get back to myself. I need to do my rituals. I need to do work out. I need to, and when you're somebody that's so absorbed with yourself, you don't have time, nor should you try to make the time for somebody else that you're not even going to be capable of having feelings for. Somebody that has it in their mind that they have to, that that if they're with someone, that to in order for it to work out, you have to love, like be like in love with yourself. You have to put yourself first, but that's selfish. When you're in a relationship, it's 50-50. You give and you take. You put in, it's a lot of communication, it's a lot of hard work. It's 50-50. It's not going to always be just about you being in love with yourself, having the other person be in love, like only think about you, because in life it's not always going to be about you.
My own wellness. That's all that is. Falling off of that to any extent, to any degree, is the only way that I've lost my twin flame. There's nothing that actually really happened. It's so funny when I look at it. It's literally like super mysterious because I feel like, bro, I didn't even do shit. Like, how did this end? How did I fuck this up? And it's not that you had to do anything to them. Because I trigger her, but we get through the triggers because it's my twin, and you get triggered a lot by your twin, right? But you grow through it, and we can connect, and we can keep that connection, grow through it, and it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. It's not voids. It's not hiding. It's not suppressing. It's none of those things. It's exposing more and more and more together about each other, and I love that dynamic so much. Very, very awesome. Very powerful. Keeping each other in their power. That's definitely Empress and Emperor energy. However, the reason why I lost my one twin flame in that relationship, why she left, which she'll leave and come back and leave and come back, and it can go both ways, but until you're able to.
So that's not a twin flame, whatever you call it. That sounds like to me a toxic relationship. When somebody leaves and they come back, they leave, they come back. That is a toxic relationship. That is because she in this particular case, she is not going to put you first. She's going to put herself first because she has those tendencies of being a selfish person too. And you are not going to put her first because you're so in love with yourself. And if you can't even take care of your own child, how are you can't, I don't know. You can't love yourself or care about even yourself if there's a child out there that belongs to you and you don't seem to care about it.
Maintain that high level of self-love and keep it and maintain it. That's how you maintain a twin flame. You got to maintain yourself. So this is why I tell people you should definitely get into astrology. You should definitely get into learning yourself and knowing yourself in a number of ways, in any way that you can find, not just for yourself, not just for your self-love.
What does astrology have to do with your twin flame, or trying to get to know yourself, or relationships?
That self-love, it allows you to be the best and give the best love. And that is for your twin. To be the best and have the best and give the best of you is something you should want to do for yourself. But if you don't even want to do that for your partner, that's not your person. If you don't even want to heal and become better, it's not your person. You see what I'm saying? I was with my twin in real life, and she really be doing things she can to do better and to grow. It's just the dynamic of how the traumas are when they kick in with her or me, is that it leads to a form of separation really, really fast. And that's connected to traumas in the past. So what separates us is when we're not vibrating at our highest self. And being with other partners where I've been vibrating extremely high, it's just still, it's like, no, it just still don't work. It's like, no. It's like, no. It's like that. It's like it feel empty. You know what I mean? It just feel empty. I feel so desired and wanted, but at the same time, it feels empty. And, you know, that I look back at it and I'm like, how did I get into this and why am I still here? Oh, I attracted this when I was in my lows. You see what I'm saying? And then when I leveled up out of that, and I really leveled up, like literally going hard with all my spiritual practices. I slept at the beach on a full moon in the middle of like at 4 a.m. just cause, like on a dragon blanket and like talking to the moon and just doing what I could, bro. And it was literally like one day after that.
So he was sitting on the beach on a dragon blanket, just talking to the moon. Does that sound normal to you? I'm just asking, and you guys can leave that in the comment section. I mean that this guy, I'm sorry. I think he needs a lot of help, in my opinion. And even then, I don't think that anything can be done.
I met my twin and I realized this was my twin, this was my person. And the funny thing is, she was doing the same thing I was doing. She had just reached an extremely high level of self-love to where we're both saying, I don't want to be with nobody. I don't even want a partner. I really don't even need a partner. I got me. I love myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we both was there. And when we was both there, we was like, yeah, I fucks with you. I fucks with you. Yeah, let's do it. And the bond is just on fire, and everything that comes with it literally makes sense. The synchronicities show up in every type of way, in every shape and form. The divine is clearly like saying yes, 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 yes. Whereas you could be
She keeps leaving, so it's no, 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 no.
looking for signs when it's not your person. You can find yourself looking for signs, pleading for signs. Bro, with my twin, when it comes to my twin, I can't avoid the signs. I can't avoid them. When it comes to my karmic partners, it's literally me having to make it into a different narrative than what it already really is. Or me doubting myself to put myself into a lower position of how I already see myself to myself in order for me to be with these people without saying names. So I know that for me, from experience, before I turned on the volume, I was wondering what the fuck this nigga doing. I'm actually doing something very special right now. I'm actually doing something very special right now. He said, if I turned on the volume, bro, I'm gonna put this up though so you can see it, and it's really concise. It's really not a complicated live. There's really not much else to say. After this, I might just start ranting, so I'm actually gonna wrap it up. But just to summarize one more time, for anybody who might just got in here and missed the things before, is that in a room, or if you watching the video, here's just a little recap. I know people that I don't really even care, like, yeah, and you become very desirable, and you might see a bunch of people coming after you, but you just don't care because you loving yourself. And that's when your twin come around. probably already know who they are too. But either you or they may not be in their best right now. And if you can stay in your best, it's like you kind of do this little quantum shift, quantum leap thing to where you're kind of helping them get to their best. So, Velvet, excuse me, I'm trying not to use names. But when my twin is at her best and is truly loving herself, it literally forces me to do that. I have no other option. Otherwise, I won't be able to be in her life if I'm not vibrating at my highest. I won't be able to be around anything that comes with my twin because I'm not vibrating at my highest. So it's literally a requirement to have your twin flame is literally that you have to be able to love yourself completely alone, and that is when the universe sends them your way. A trauma bond or a karmic relationship. Hold on. When every relationship going good, don't get in a relationship. But when everything going good, don't get in a relationship. Oh, I got you. Yeah, man, and that's literally like that's the twin flame route. Because if there's a person that just matches your fly at that level and degree, and it's just the divine is doing it. It's not even you doing it. It's not even them doing it. It's like what?
Look at his face. You see how much self-gratification he has. He is just in love with himself. Like he thinks that Velvet is like up on a higher level, and he thinks that he is also on that high level, and he just thinks that I don't know, the narcissism is real.
Line like orchestrated that. It's like all right, it's different. Whereas trauma bonds and karmic partners, those are things we look for. Those are things that we try to make happen and we try to make work to fulfill our voids and our weaknesses. So anything other than being loved, being that self-love, and if you literally can't do it alone, you just don't got it. You just don't got the self-love. Until you can be completely alone and you can know all of your traumas and you'll know it because you'll be taking such good care of yourself. You'll be taking such good care of your health, of your mind. You'd be so careful about where you spend your time. You'd be creating. You'd be focused on your purpose. You'd be building your businesses. That's how you know. That's how you grow. You're going to be focused on that stuff.
Your purpose should be to check in on your baby from time to time, in my opinion.
If you're not focused on that level of evolution, you's not ready for your partner. And any partnership you may be in or may be attracting, they could be a soulmate if they helping you in your purpose, but they could also be a trauma bond if they're just something you can have in your weakness. So you want to become the best version of yourself. You want to study astrology. You want to know your ups and downs, the good things about you and the bad things about you. Because when you deal with another person, you don't want to have to make them, especially if you love them, bro. If you love yourself, bro, you don't want anybody to have to deal with the weak ass you. If you really love yourself, you don't want anybody in this realm to have to deal with you and not at your best, especially you. You don't want to deal with yourself at your worst. So what are you talking about? And you can do things to mitigate it and feel good, like smoking and drinking. And yeah, so that song, if you listen to that song closely, it's actually telling you how a twin flame relationship flows. It doesn't say that that's still not my twin. It doesn't say that the passion's not there. It doesn't say that I don't love you. It says that I do love you. I'm saying, is it a curse to be a lover? I'm saying, damn, this is hard because this is what it takes. Man, it's a lot of self-love that I need. If I didn't love myself, I'd probably be heartbroken or heartless. But I do love myself. So I know what this is. And because I love myself, I also know that I need to grow, I need to evolve, and there's nothing else for me to do. If I stop loving myself, I might become heartless. That's what karmics do. That is.
But sometimes you can love yourself so much that you just have no empathy. You have no heart. You can't care for other people.
What these voided relationships do, these false flames, these traumatic karmic relationships, that's what they do. They have you leaving, they have you feeling like a drug.
I'm sorry, but he keeps talking about Natiri, and just like with Velvet, there's no accountability there. There's no accountability on his part whatsoever. He's sitting there talking about that this, is toxic or whatever, but he chose to be with her. He chose to be with her. He chose to have a child with her. And he knew from the beginning, he knew when he was in carbonation that he didn't like her. And nobody was forcing him to be with her. And just like with Natiri had a very bad obsession over him. And she wasn't going to let him go either. But hopefully she's starting to see what he's about. Hopefully she's opening her eyes to what is going on here with this.
Like a high, like you just need more, like a fix. It's very narcissistic. And you're going to want to really look at yourself, heal yourself, and grow because, like, I'm going to tell y'all, if you ain't already doing it, take some time to really become sober. Take some time to, if you're not, take some time to really sit in a room with yourself and see what are your values. Write out what's important to you. Write out how much you really know about yourself. Do you have enough confidence and understanding and honesty with yourself to write out your actual weaknesses and voids and the things that may be putting you in karmic relationships? Yeah, this is going on YouTube. This is going on YouTube. So, just know that you can be, and this is another thing, I'm going to add this in there, is, let me answer this question first. I was about to talk about tantric practices and how that works, but you said, how do you separate self-love from selfishness?
Yeah,
Self-love
exactly.
is simply, like, I think self-love is really close to protecting your energy, right? Self-love has everything to do with understanding you. Okay, selfishness is just wanting things for you. Selfishness is just thinking about you only. Whereas self-love is understanding yourself so that when you deal with anybody else, you can give them the best you. That's not the reason, but...
So, in all the relationships you've been in, you've not been able to give any one of these women the best of you. And you talk about how, the difference between selfishness and self-love, but everything that you just described, it speaks about you and who you are. You only think about yourself. I mean, these are things that you should stop and think, okay, maybe I am being a little bit selfish, well, a whole lot selfish. I'm not having anything to do with my child. I've used, allegedly, my child to try to make money. Um, yeah, and it's just unbelievable that these people are asking him the right questions, because I think they're trying to get him to think, like, okay, well, then what's the difference between that and being selfish? And he spoke it right there. He spoke and answered the question, but everything he just answered, he was speaking on himself.
That's what happens. That's what ends up happening. So selfishness, okay, that is where it doesn't matter what it is or what frequency you're on. That's just, I want things just for me. I'm not thinking about anybody else in the situation. That is a critical component of being a narcissist. Whereas self-love, it doesn't want...
And he just points that right out, boy, right after he describes who he is. Because a person that is only thinking about himself, that's selfish, like he's saying, then, and he's not concerned about anybody else in the situation. But is he really concerned or about this, this baby that's also in this situation? He's not. So he needs to kind of like think about that. Think like, maybe I am being selfish here.
Want to hurt anybody, bro. Even that person who hurt you, you still don't want to hurt them. You don't want to hurt anybody around you. It doesn't. Self-love actually makes you available to give more of yourself. When you have self-love and you understand who you are, you know yourself a little more clearer, you can work with the world a little more clearer. Instead of expecting things from people who they shouldn't be giving it to you, or expecting things that you really don't even need, or overdoing things just because you're only thinking about yourself. This person will never find love who's selfish.
Oh, really? So, he's saying, no, this person who is selfish, who only thinks about himself, never thinks about somebody else in the situation, that selfish person is never going to find love. So now, maybe he should think, well, maybe this is why I'm not finding love. Because maybe I'm that narcissist that I just spoke of.
Love only requires you, correct. Actually, selfish involves other people. Selfish involves using other people. Self-love involves using yourself. Boom. So I agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you on that, Mulador. You selfish involves other people, and just to build on it, I want to say, selfish involves using and dealing with other people, whereas self-love, you're the source of everything that's about to happen. You see what I'm saying?
You are the source of nothing. And if your daughter is sitting there and she needs a father, and you know that she needs a father, isn't it selfish that you're not there for that child?
And that's it. It's an intent. It's definitely an intent. Perfect. You be dropping them gems. I can't help it, but I don't know what else to do. But what I'm really doing is I'm sharing my journey. And for people who connect to me and my journey, I hope that it helps awaken you and enlighten you to the best parts of you. That's it. Like, they really ain't nothing else to take from me being on live and doing these videos, other than like finding out where in your life that you can apply this, or where you have seen this. So I accept my fate, bro. And I accept that I have maybe sabotaged my twin flame relationships. However, it's very easy to get it back. There's only one way to get back. And this is for anybody. So I don't care who your twin flame is. I don't care who your person is, who it is that you know you love, but it just didn't work out. It just didn't happen.
he's really delusional. He's really thinking that he's going to get Velvet back. He really wants Velvet back, but it's not because he cares about her. It's not because he loves her. It's because she looks good on his own. She's like a trophy to him. Like, this is the so-called queen of carbonation. He took something that was Nature Boy's. Nature Boy, in his mind, took his daughter. He's going to have one by the wife. He doesn't care nothing about Velvet either. Velvet don't care nothing about him either. For them, it's all about payback.
It's never too late. The only thing that is that you need to love yourself so much. It's not that you forget about them, but love yourself so much that you can't help but attract the best person for you. You will push away everything else that's not for you. And it's going to relate to, thank you, Master Nisha, because self-love is high vibes. It's going to relate to a higher frequency every time. Why?
So because of your selfishness and because of your wants and your whatever it is that Solar wants, he can push away everything else in order to keep the one thing that he wants. Not the one person that he's just so in love with, but he's willing to push away everything for his own selfish needs and wants. And as far as using, yeah, that's like he said, they'll use people to get what they want. That's also another trait of being selfish, and that is what he does to his own child, in my opinion.
When you're in a higher frequency, you're more in alignment with purpose. When you're in a low frequency, you are further away from your purpose, therefore more likely to be lost on the broad path of doing whatever the fuck. Where God just wants you to do this, and your higher self just wants you to do this, and that's called your purpose. But you want to keep smoking and drinking and running around that and doing all the other stuff, knowing that you're ignoring your purpose. And it's not about just fulfilling your purpose, being super good in your purpose. It's just you can't acknowledge it or stay on it unless you're vibrating high. The thing about your twin flame, the reason why it's usually one person is because it's you and your purpose. So that's why, you really want to start considering how your relationship started. You really want to find out what kind of relationship you have. Looked at who you were and where you were when you attracted it. Okay, when you attracted it. When you attracted the relationship you're in, what were the vibes? Were you running and hiding from a situation? Or were you already, was you in your bag, loving yourself already just loving on yourself, yeah. And you come around this person and it feels like they took you out of that. No, they didn't take you out of it. This is the test. This is a journey. And now you got to maintain it. And guess what? If you do deal with other people, you may deal with their traumas too. You might deal with them. And you might have your stuff together, but they don't. But that don't mean hate them. And if this is truly your partner, truly your twin, your flame, you would not want to hurt them. What you would do is you do your best to stay at a high frequency. And it'll show them and it'll push them to do the same. That's the only way you can help your twin flame. Is that you literally have to raise your own frequency. You literally got to just be the best that you could possibly be for you. It's literally the only way. You can't, that's the thing, you don't find a new twin flame. If you go look for it, it's not even about showing them. They'll watch you, they'll see it, yeah, but it's kind of more of a quantum thing, to be honest with you. It's way more spiritual than that. But you can't find a twin flame, and this is why. Because if you're looking for love, you don't have it. If you're looking for a partner, if you're looking for a person to fulfill you, it's already not love. You understand? You can't seek for love when it's something that you are and it's something that you have. Only then can you give it and share it. But it kind of radiates from you like a light. And you and your best ain't for everybody.
Do you know what radiates from you? And I'm sorry, and this is just my opinion, but a sorry father is what you radiate. You radiate a sorry human being, excuse of a human being. And that is just my opinion. With your little valley boy attitude, like preppy, whoever, thinking about only yourself, like there's not even children involved. I feel bad for that baby. Yeah, but you know what? I don't feel bad because that baby, she's probably going to do so much better without this person in her life. She doesn't need someone like him anyway.
Yeah, show them in your actions, and you show the work. You show it to yourself. You prove it to yourself. You're not improving your life, and I said that before. You're not improving your life and being the best version of you for them. It's just you got to understand that is a component, a critical component that comes with being in your best self. Not just any relationship you're in is gonna work if you're in your best self. So this is why I get nervous when people want to promote and talk about polygamy a little too much, because I love the idea of infinity and freedom, but at the same time, like unless you really, 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 really in your purpose all the way in your bag, it's like, bro, that self-love, I don't know if every single person around you in that polygamous relationship is emanating that. And if they are, I guess I could see that working. I could. But if I look at it again and I see like, okay, you got this person, that person, this person coming out, we gonna test this person out, we gonna test that person out. I don't feel like it should ever be that. I feel like the universe literally like just put that shit together if it's supposed to be, but it wouldn't even do that unless you were truly vibrating at your highest frequency. So I believe that since most people ain't really at that space, I don't think like all of y'all, a lot of people really ain't even with they person or who they supposed to be. I feel like a lot of people get tracked in these cars, and actually my phone is loaded with these people telling me, yo, I need to get away from this. I need to get away from that. I need to get away from this. But I bet you anything, they attracted those partnerships and I attracted those relationships while vibrating low. While they were vibrating really low. Funny thing about me and my twin is that I had just ended a relationship and it broke my heart. It really, really hurt. But it also showed me that I didn't even really like that person. Exactly. That person didn't even really like me.
See? He's saying it really broke my heart. And then he says that he didn't even really like that person. And we know that he's talking about Nateri, in my opinion. How? We knew that he didn't like Nateri. But he went and he wanted to go be with her. Now, I don't know if he did it for the fact that maybe Nature Boy told him to do it, ordered him to do it at first, and then, once he was out of the cult for a little bit, he just decided to stay gone. But that's beside the point. The point is, he knew when he was in carbonation that he didn't like her. He knew that. This is his fault. This is and Natiri's fault because she was obsessed with him. But he needs to take accountability and say, you know what, I did. I messed up. I went to be with somebody that I didn't have feelings for. But now there's a child involved, so let me do what I'm supposed to do as a father. In my opinion, he's not even a man. Because, a real man, they would have stepped up and did what they had to do to take care of their child. Try to see it. Try to be in its life.
And I get it. Like, I get it, bro. I really do understand. Like, it's really a cycle, bro. It's a whole cycle that we be putting ourselves through. And I found myself just catering to this person, hoping that they're going to cater back to me. And that was a lesson that I had to learn. And when I let go of that relationship, first thing I did was I
See,
went.
that's what he wants in a relationship. He wants everything to be about him. And he don't care. He don't want the other person to do anything outside of that. It's all about him. And I don't care what anybody says. If me knowing Nateri the way that I've learned her behavior over these years is that she is obsessed with Solar. When she was in this relationship, I'm willing to bet anything that she put him first. That she did everything she could to be there and try to put him first. But because of him wanting to go out here and talk to other women and try to bring another women into this relationship, it wasn't going to work out. And Nateri probably being exhausted, taking care of him, she just got fed up and left.
Crazy and started building my business. I raised all my prices. I started making like really good. I actually stopped making music at the time. I was making really good beats though. I had stopped making music at the time, and I switched my focus to working out. I switched my focus to getting up at a certain time. I switched my focus to cleaning everything all the time in great detail, having energy flowing, having high vibrational conversations, teaching, organizing all the knowledge. When I was in that, bro, when I did all that, and I was going out in nature, I was out there connecting to source, like truly, not just talking about it, not just acknowledging it, but actually connecting to it, bro. Actually touching it, actually being one with it. Sleeping in the sand at 4 a.m., underneath a full moon, or not even a full moon, just a moon, just releasing and just appreciating and being grateful for the love that I have for myself and the life that I have and the life that I live. And I literally get home that same night and my twin pops up on my phone. I'm not thinking I love her, I want to be with her. I listen to the video and it's literally saying everything I was just saying. I don't want to be with nobody. I'm not looking for nobody else. I love being with me. Like, I love me. I treat myself very well. You see what I'm saying? And I'm listening to this video of my twin saying this, and she talking about.
You found somebody that has the narcissistic tendencies that you allegedly do have. That's what you saw. You saw someone and thought, okay, well, this person is just like me. They love themselves. They're all into themselves. We can make this work. But two people like that cannot make a relationship work. It's not going to happen.
About, you know, it's kind of being funny about it, but that's how I was feeling. I'm like, bro, what do I need these relationships for? Like, like, I'm good. Like, I really just needed me the whole time. And that's what she was on. And I'm listening to the video. I'm like, yeah, I only need me. Yeah, that's what I'm on. Yeah. Hold up. But then I also realized I know her. And I'm like, wait, hold on. And I'll send her a message. And everything was just, no, I put a comment in there. She sent me a message, I think. And everything just aligned in just such a divine, beautiful way. And it was from me vibrating at my best. from her vibrating at her best. And we came together at our best. And when we did, it was powerful. It was like two worlds collide, this universe just, two stars just exploding. And the whole world, like, it changed a lot. It was very impactful. It changed a lot. It did. For a lot of people's lives. Inspired so many people. It rallied so many people.
Your relationship with Velvet inspired so many people, and it changed so many people's lives. Okay. Mm.
To just grow and do better, and that's not about to stop because we're not together. But what's funny is that is our tether. It's our tether, and it makes me happy, guys, and it does make me smile to know that there's nothing that I gotta do but get back to working out.
It's get back to working out. I'm so happy. It's all about me. Me, 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 me. I just love me. He needs to marry himself. Honestly.
Get back on my sleep schedule, make sure that I continue to eat the right way, make sure that I continue to put in work and teach and create. That's all I gotta do is like really just be my best self. And I'm not doing it to attract that person back. I'm doing it because I remember how that felt. I remember what it was like to be there. And I'm kind of tired of waking up depressed. I'm kind of tired of waking up hurt because I won't acknowledge, right? And it's not even that I won't acknowledge, is that I may have been a little confused on what relationships are what. And it took some time to figure it out. Hey, what's up, Lisa? I'm gonna put this on my YouTube anyway. You can put it up too. It's whatever. This is a really good lesson.
So it's time for him and Velvet to get back together because he's grown now. He's healed. And while Velvet's over with her family, she's healing and she's growing, and now they can come back together and just have the perfect relationship. Okay.
It's not even like drama. You might catch bits of drama in it, but I'm just explaining, a twin flame versus a karmic, right? Versus soulmates. And someone came in the room and said there's more types than that, but there's nothing that trumps the twin flame. And I think that that's just the most beautiful thing, because you got to return to the source of who you are. You got to return to you completely. And twin flame relationship, even trauma bond relationships, they have so much in common because there's such a it's one requirement. Self-love. That's the one requirement for a twin flame relationship. That's the one requirement. Self-love and the maintenance of it and the maintaining of it. That is the only requirement. If that self-love goes away, so does a relationship.
So it's not loving the other person. It's not about being an open person and not unselfish person. I don't get it. I really don't. And he says if he doesn't have self-love, that this relationship isn't going to work. Well, he's had nothing but self-love since they met, and it still didn't work 2 times over.
That's a twin flame. Other things like voids and trauma bonds and things like that, those are going to allow you to be in your weakness. And it's cool. That's cool. That's a cool place to stay. Nah, bro. Like, nah, because the moment you level up or you want to level up, you have to let them go. That's a karmic, bro. That's not even hard to tell. If it's hard to tell because this is a journey and we're growing and they're growing and then you grow and then they grow and you don't know, is this person, was they just karmic or are they growing? Is that my twin? Well, I want you to do this. Think about it. Go back a little bit. Think about it. How did the relationship start? What spurred it?
Solar, how much more do you have to grow before you turn into a man? When will you finally be a man?
And how involved was the universe in it? Where were you energetically, frequency-wise? It's not your person if you were hurt when you found the relationship. It's not your person if you were vibrating low, or you were sad, or you didn't know who you were, you were lacking identity. If you grabbed the relationship at any one of those points in times, you definitely attracted exactly what you needed.
When you were with Nateri, you knew exactly who you were. You weren't hurt at all when she left. You were talking to other women when she left.
However, if you happen to be vibrating at your best, if you happen to be in love with the mirror, in love with yourself, in love with your own energy, you really don't think, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time to even think about.
On his face. Do you see the smirk on his face when he's talking about the mirror, looking at himself in the mirror? Because he knows that's what he does. It's so disgusting. I'm sorry. And I don't want to be like this towards another human being, but this person right here, he irks me in ways that I can't help it.
Who else you would give your time to? And everything around you, you appreciate it, you love it, and you take care of it the way you would take care of yourself. You take care of everything around you the way that you take care of yourself. That's a higher degree of self-love.
Well, how about you take care of your child? Take care of your child the same way you would take care of yourself. Then you'll be doing good.
Your hair should be done. You should be nice and clean. Your house should be nice and clean. You should have everything that you need. You should have did your yoga already. You should be getting plenty of sunlight. You should be connecting to nature. You should be all the way in your bag. You need to get the fuck off the phone. Get out the house. If you're not doing any of those things, I highly doubt you're with your twin, or you're even close to him. Highly doubt it. And no, it's not too late. You just might be too deep. It's a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's a quantum jump that you can take if you choose to acknowledge yourself, your weaknesses, your traumas, and be honest and truthful with yourself. You can really catalyze and evolve yourself very quickly, very fast to that person, or have that person come to you. And the truth is, we all deserve that reciprocal love. We all deserve that reciprocal energy. And you may not be ready for it. Your person may be ready for it. Or you may be ready for it and your person ain't ready for it. Either way, the only way to approach it is to continue to love yourself. And if your partner's not ready, your twin flame's not ready, it is what it is. You love them. You still would never want to hurt them or anything. Just don't even just worry about being patient. That's all. Clubs, bro, just go on Google Maps. Just load it. This place is crazy. And I'm connected to a lot of the owners out here. And I'm performing in a couple of these spots. And then I have friends who perform in a couple of these spots. So it's some dope ass clubs out here. But I'm gonna be honest with you, you got a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. So, but yeah, love yourself, man. Love yourself and know that there's no other way to attract that person. And I want you all to find your twin flame. I want you all to find that love in your life. I really do, bro. I really do want that for everybody. And I know what self-love feels like. And I've been there and I've been out of it. And I've been in it and I've been out of it again. And it's always the same when I'm back in it. It's the most empowering position I can possibly be in. It's the most powerful place that I be in. I love it there. And it's the most peaceful me. It's the most loving me. It helps people the most. It connects people the most. Nature talks to me the most at these times. And that's just all you got to do. That's literally all you got to do. There's no video. There's no message you got to type. There's no song you got to make. There's no this. There's no letter you got to write. There's nothing you have to do to prove yourself to your partner. There's nothing that you have to do to prove yourself to the person you're supposed to be with, other than just being yourself and vibrating really high. and having faith and trust in the universe that of how it works. Not even faith, because if you know how the universe works, it's just a knowing. It's not even a belief. It's a knowing. It's like, bro, if I love myself at the highest possible capacity that I can, daily, forever, for the rest of my life, I may be able to also maintain the best possible relationship for me ever in my life. Easy math. Easy math. But because we may be traumatized and because we may be hurt, we might settle for these little momentary relationships. We might settle for these little flings. And we might have to deal with the consequences that come from trauma bonding. We might have to deal with, a number of things that come from being with somebody at a lower vibration of yourself. And I'm not saying you got together. It's all about how you got together. Because you could get together, the vibe can go up or down, and it can still be a twin flame. It's just lessons and growing in life. But then there's also the other side of it where it's like, how did it start, bro? Were you up or were you down when it started? If you were down where it started, that's its foundation. If you were up where it started, that's also its foundation. And you could have met this person at any point in time in your life. And you might even not know that this is the person that's supposed to be your partner. Like my twin, I knew my twin for years on years, and I never thought that would be my twin. We was just loving on each other, we was just loving ourselves, like doing our thing, watching each other in different relationships, watching each other go through all kind of shit, watching each other get treated like all kind of different ways. And I see Body University that too, so we can have that high degree of compassion for one another as well in the relationship.
And you were totally not doing anything to Zoka. I think that I think it's disgusting what's going on. He knows that he's married to Zoka. He knows what he's done to her. Then he goes and he gets with the person that's obsessed with him. And then he acts as if he didn't want to be there the whole time, and that she's just a step down. Velvet, she's the step up. It's unbelievable. I can't even hardly hear him talk anymore. We'll listen to what little bit he has to say here.
It can be looked at as trauma bonding, but a trauma bond would have been something that would have been developed from that space. When I found out that this was the person I wanted to be with for the rest of my life, it wasn't in that moment. It wasn't until I was in a space of complete, absolute self-love. When I was in a space of isolation, complete, absolute self-love, watching people hate me, watching new people come in to love me, watching people who say they love me turn on me. For a number of reasons, I didn't give a fuck, because I'm literally doing my best, trying my best. And when you're doing that, you don't care to prove yourself to anybody, because you know you're doing your best. So we're your relationships. So we're your. Are you listening? If you're not listening, you wouldn't know the answer. If you're listening, you know the answer. So I'll just say it again, because you just may not be listening. If you want to identify your twin flame versus a trauma bond, look at where you were when you started and when you attracted that relationship. Okay? A number of my relationships have been attracted from me being nowhere near a space of self-love. There's only one relationship that I have attracted from absolute self-love, which was directly after a heartbreak from a karmic partner. And breaking up with that karmic partner, they had to leave me. They left me in shambles and they left me in pieces. Not because I was vibrating low. I was actually consistently vibrating high. And they still left because I'm pushing them and asking them to grow, and they refused to. That's how I know that wasn't my person, because their domain and their frequency was where I met them at. And it's just staying there. Whereas with my twin flame, I met them at this domain and this frequency. And time did this to us. Where it's like, nah, I got to get back to me. And whenever that happens, who you think I'm going to see? That's the thing. where were you vibrating when you attracted it? And I don't know if anybody's even really, if everybody has truly felt that self-love yet. My life has.
He wants the woman that he's with to change for him. Nateri is not. I think she probably tried to change for him. I think she probably tried to please him and try to make him happy, but you cannot make somebody like him happy at all.
Forced me into it early. Like, I'm 28. I'm in my Saturn return right now. I got a Venus in Taurus, which is rulership. I'm all about commitment. I'm all about relationship. And it's in the 11th house, so it's Aquarius Venus. And my twin has the same Venus. And then I also have Scorpio, 5th house, North Node, Vertex, and Pluto, which means that the greatest levels of evolution and transformation for me are in deep, intimate relationships, sex, romance, and children, partnerships. So those things evolve me in like ridiculous ways, if you guys haven't noticed. And they help me tap into some real deep stuff that are, collective truths. They're not things that just apply to me. They're things that everybody's going through to some degree. And I just want to let you know that your self-love is the only way to set yourself free. And that's the only.
Oh, if I hear any more about the house and the Saturn, or whatever he's talking about, or if I hear any more about his self-love, I'm gonna vomit. I can't hear this no more. I think the best thing he can do is stay away from all of these women and focus on his children, or the child he has now, the one that's on the way. Focus on that. Show them, like I said, a fifth of the love that you seem to have for yourself, and I think you'll go far as a father. Um, Other than that, that's all I have for you guys. Tell me what y'all think about this. I have a headache now from this. I got a migraine, and I cannot listen to him for too long. He just, ugh, he does something to me. But with that being said, you guys have a wonderful night. God bless.